Let's do this. Starting on Lijiang Tower. Vancouver Titans and the Boston Uprising with my former friend, RCK. Rock the pink sweater, Jayne. You know it. Oh, I should mute those so that they don't bother you guys. Give me a second. Okay, what are we seeing right off the bat? Right off the bat, we're going to see Boston Uprising with the triple DPS and Ball. Fusion's playing Ball. And then the Vancouver Titans playing Zenyatta Goats. It was interesting for a while there, the Vancouver Titans were playing a lot of Ana Goats, but they've seemed to have trended back towards Zenyatta. And now they're swapping over to Moira to try and be a little bit more resilient against the triple DPS there of Boston. Thought you were naked for a second? See? We got our first guy. We got him. We got him, chat. I actually just really like this sweater. After the last time I wore it on stream, everyone was like, oh my god, I thought you were naked. RCK trying to harass Janu. Vancouver Titans trying to get that first point cap. Bumper's shield's already low, but he gets healed up, and that's the strength of Moira. Did he get knocked off? Oh, just barely. Oh, no, Fusion's with the follow-up boop, though. That's good. Is Vancouver going to actually be able to get this first cap? So the whole thing with, like, Moira Goats against this composition is it's very unlikely that you're actually going to win the first fight, but the idea is you want to get the first cap. But that didn't actually happen for Boston. Rather for Vancouver, so Boston is going to win the first fight and get the first cap. They used the barrage to do it, but that's fine because they've got EMP, so we'll have to see what RCK's EMP setup is like. Yep, so you either have to use multi, or isn't there some like Gigabrain viewer? Somebody coded something. Nice little EMP there. It's a pretty easy one, quick death. It's not the worst thing in the world if you're Vancouver. Yeah, there was somebody programmed like a website where you can use both. But if you're brand new to this, basically what I'm doing is providing alternative commentary for the League game. So you either have to use multi-twitch, open it up in separate browsers or separate tabs, or use multi-twitch. But yeah. Why are things getting starred out? Mirst, why are things being put in asterisks? I don't know what's being censored. It's best for multi-viewing. Why are things being censored into... Weird. I'll get the link for you guys after the... Mirst, can you send it to me on Discord? And I'll just post it? Links, probably. Weird, that's a new way of censoring things. I should turn that off. I don't know when Twitch started doing that. Ooh, headshot. Suminsu immediately healed up, though. Okay, Boston's got a lot of ultimates. Probably Nano Barrage, just to make sure that the Pharah is going to be able to live through that barrage. Maybe EMP as well. Weird translocator placement, but we'll take it. Okay. RCK translocated, still trying to set this up. Vancouver's still behind by about 20% here. There's the concussion. Oh, so they're using the... They're using the coalescence to try and take out the Pharah, which is actually a pretty common thing to do, an attempt. But usually the coalescence alone is not enough. You know, it will eventually power through the Mercy's healing, but it doesn't do enough kind of like damage over time after Mercy's healing to kill the Pharah fast enough. So especially with the Vancouver Titans not running as Zenyatta, if you're actually going to kill the Pharah or the Mercy using coalescence, you usually have to have your D.Va go after them at the same time. Grav, get fusions. Yeah, Wrecking Balls are really annoying. So, especially in triple and quad DPS setups, grabbing like the Wrecking Ball and taking them out really isn't that bad of an idea, because he just does so much disruption. And he's really the guy that kind of allows the actual DPS picks to kind of find value, find angles, you know, disrupt them so that they're easier to pick off one at a time. And he gets a lot of ult charge, and then his mines. He is a nightmare. So solo grabbing a Wrecking Ball when you're playing what Vancouver is playing, the Moira Goats against Boston Uprising's multiple DPS composition, never really a bad idea. Nice little body block. Oh, clean barrage though. So no EMP comboed with it, no nano onto the barrage, but looks like it is still going to be enough. Vancouver Titans, they did use one of their ultimates. Yeah, the one ultimate, the Coalescence, and it got canceled by EMP. Boston's going to have Nano. They're going to have the mines there. I don't know how they're going to use the Nano in this situation. Like, their options really are Nano RCK to get the EMP faster, Nano Blase, but that would be kind of a weird one and very situationally dependent. Could just be using it for survival, but let's see what they do. And how Vancouver's going to attack this. Vancouver's got Rally. Ooh, Fusion's got Body Block just pinned in there and taken out. RCK hack Diva, but he's in the middle of it, so there's nothing they can really do. Color Hacks finds Slime. I don't even know where he is. He's probably main. There's the Nano onto Pharah. Try and get that barrage up as well as give her some more ability to actually kind of survive on the point. But with nobody else there, they're both going to drop. Mines are coming out. RCK is super low. EMP's just for celebration, I guess. And Vancouver probably going to get this map. Yeah. So Vancouver gave up first cap and still won 100 to 80. Not bad. Okay, I'm going to go and look for that link that I can share with you guys. Ba-da-ba-ba. Okay, so you can use the link that I'm going to post in chat. You can use this link to watch. I'll just put a watch command on. There, mods. It's now on a watch command for you. Okay, what are we playing on Control Center? What are you playing on Control Center? Any reason to use that link? If you can't, for some reason, set it up into multiple tabs or browsers or use multi-twitch, then you can do that. It's just a different option for watching. Johnny up on the high ground. Gets into a trap. I think he's going to be okay. Yeah, the Ana nade hits him, so he's alive. So Boston really committing to this like higher DPS composition. Blase going on to the Doomfist here. So it used to be the case that sometimes we would see Pharah on Control Center, but this is not usually a map that we see high DPS compositions on. So it makes me wondering if we're going to see almost no goats from Boston today, which is very possible. But Vancouver Titans, if they can continue to beat this, especially on the maps where it is strong, they're going to just keep running this. I don't see them having any reason to do otherwise. Bumper getting saved by Hawksaw. There's the EMP coming out from RCK. Oh, that's going to be a dead slime. Oh, he got nanoed! The intentional boostio. Ah, man. Nano Boost is such just a versatile ultimate. Gives you so many options, whether you can use it offensively for ultimate generation and kind of like wanting to rotate ults a little bit faster, or for survivability. It's kind of in the same vein, like any burst ability or ultimate, Nano Boost, and then there's Repair Pack for Brigitte. Any kind of like burst ability has the great kind of utility of being able to bait cooldowns out and engagements. Like in that case, you know, Blase knew that all three of them were low and really wanted to push that because he was going to get a kill, he was going to get a reset so he could chase after other people, and then he got baited by the Nano, kind of like instantly healing him up. So you can do the same thing. Like people can go after a target thinking they can get the kill, and then the burst heal comes out and just be like, nope, not anymore. So. I thought you sat shirtless? Yes, indeed. Somebody else thought that. Use a stun. Like, get your Brigitte in there. There we go. There's that. No Diva. No Diva for the Boston Uprising. Can't stop a grab. They get to choose exactly when and where they get to grab. There's no threat. There's no prevention. As long as he sees people together, he can use that. That alone just makes D.Va so strong. It's not the fact that you can eat every single Matrix, but the fact that the Zarya can see opportunities for, like, great Gravitons and be like, oh, but is the D.Va going to Matrix it? Or if you purposely put yourself in positions for great Gravitons, you can just have your Matrix up. Yeah, D.Va's so strong. Okay, 75% for Vancouver. This is a bit of an awkward one for Boston. This is basically last fight. So he's going to EMP, turn, and try and hack Lucio. He didn't get it in time, but that was really smart. That was really smart. Because you can usually get the hack onto Lucio in the in the time frame that it actually takes to drop the beat. So he purposefully missed the EMP onto Slime to try and get the EMP and cancel barrier with the hack. So that was really good. If you were wondering what he was doing there. That's a pretty common thing to have happen these days. So it's just really powerful if the Lucios aren't expecting it. One of the ways that the Lucios can actually have it work out is that the thing with Lucio's sound barrier, if you guys don't know, chat, is the kind of like, it's got the animation where you jump and then you drop the beat, but then as soon as the beat touches the ground, there's actually like I don't remember if it's 1 second or 2 seconds. Is it 1 second? I feel like it's 1 second. I actually don't remember if it's 1 or 2 seconds. But it's anybody who is within your line of sight during that period of time after you touch the ground. It's not like applied immediately. So you can like land with your like, let's break it down. And then during that, like when you're like driving your speaker across the ground, you know, as long as anybody enters your LOS during that like animation, they get beat. So if you're like worried about trying to get baited into the EMP as you're kind of like jumping out and you're trying to like land in the middle of the fight, you don't have to land in the middle of the fight. You just drop your beat earlier and you land like right at the corner and then you drift into line of sight of your allies and they'll get the beat, but it's impossible to be canceled.
This allows you, let's say if Boston were to take the first point, you don't have to change everything in your composition. You can hold on to some of your ultimates. It helps you not get snowballed, where the Boston Uprising can just run straight in to the second point. Boston comes out with the damage dealer heavy look again here.
Okay, yeah, Boston I'm pretty sure is going to hard commit to going triple or quad DPS. I don't know why that is. Goats is very much still viable, and Fusions is definitely a tank player who likes to micro his team and lead very aggressively. So this is definitely an interesting shift in why they would want to consider running so much triple DPS. So Haksal immediately bashing out Fusions, but you know, Fusions would obviously disagree if people called him a Rhine one-trick. And I don't think people are calling him a Rhine one-trick because of his inability to play Winston or Wrecking Ball or anything like that. Bumper, what are you doing? People are kind of like questioning his abilities when he's on Wrecking Ball and Winston, not because of his actual ability at that hero, but just like we were talking about with Vancouver, his comm style that everybody knows he has is very, very beneficial on Reinhardt, but on a more split composition with Winston or Wrecking Ball, it's less likely to have as large of an impact on the success of his team.
The Boston Uprising gets split very heavily, but that maybe is just what they wanted. Slime and Bumper have gone down. Colorhex found the pick on that enemy Lucio. And now Blase.
Yeah, so this first point loss is pretty much entirely off of Bumper just like jumping in the backline and feeding. Not sure what he saw exactly that caused him to jump in that deep. It's very possible that he saw either Aim God, Colorhex, Kellex, one of them separated. Maybe Aim God got asleep. I hope they show a replay of what happened to Bumper there, because he's not an idiot that would just jump in and feed like that normally. He obviously saw something. Suminsu gets RCK, though. And it was EMP canceled, too. Aim God's in trouble. Barrage is coming out. Blase has been performing extremely, extremely well. It was pretty unreasonable that Boston was shut down by Vancouver here. Wow, okay. We're going to have to watch that one back to see exactly what happened. Come on, Sumitsu. You good? It was pretty ridiculous. Man, even in like the pro pugs with Blase, Blase was just absolutely destroying. He's such a good player.
You had Twilight coming back into the action, but both of those players just juggle the points so well. rage as well to use here. So gonna jump right on color hex. You lose that one-shot ability. Now
Oop.
gonna primal rage. Now Bumper. Oh, aim god is
There we go. That's what Bumper probably wanted to do the first time. He could use one more jump. No, he doesn't go for it.
You just love to watch Bumper. Like you know, like when you watch
Oh,
him,
excuse
like,
me.
it's so much fun. Like,
Okay.
sometimes you see him on the Hanzo. They say it's real, but
There's a lot of pressure on Twilight in this composition. Like, they decided to go with the Ana goats instead of the Moira goats, which means there's a lot of pressure on Twilight. Not only does he need to keep himself up, but with the higher damage, there's more likelihood that he needs to use the nade defensively on his teammates instead of defensively on himself, and then he also needs to contribute to like killing the pharmacy. And then his sleep darts have to be like super accurate on fusions, canceling EMPs, sombras, barrages, all of that. So like if you want to watch anybody in first person, watching how Twilight plays in this composition for the Vancouver Titans would probably be one of the more interesting ones. There's just like everything from Vancouver Titans lives and dies on his Ana usage. Looked like he nanoed the Zarya there, and the barrage is going to be coming out on him. He is going to get Sumin-Su, and he's going to survive it as well. He tried to concussion blast away from the wall, but got grabbed into the wall right before Sumin-Su died, right? Is that what happened? Yeah. Fusions gets 2 kills with mines while he's sleeping. And they're going to get it in overtime. Okay. What are they going to swap to? Now, if they stay on like triple DPS or anything like that for second point, I'd be really surprised. Okay. Okay, why is Color Hex still on Widow? What is this? Color Hex, what are you doing? What is Boston doing? Okay. I don't know why he was on Widow for so long. I was like, what is this new composition? Widowmaker Brigitte goats. Oh, we got bad spawned? Okay. Okay. Vancouver Titans holding him pretty aggressively here.
And look, in lieu of having ultimates, teams just try and sometimes find a pick, like, you know, get a player advantage early in the fight. But Boston's team
RCK just trying to farm a little bit of EMP. Boston not moving like as decisively or as aggressively as they used to in GOATs. Definitely spending a little bit longer rotating, and doesn't look as clean either. Okay, there's a deep dive in the back line. There's the rally in response. Or sorry, the rally to engage. That was Hawkstall's rally, not Blaze's. Fusions is already in trouble. Into the Primal. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Primal was necessary here. Like, they had already taken out Fusions. I'm not entirely sure that Bumper was actually in any threat of dying, but he probably just wants to get off the hero and go to Reinhardt, so I'd expect to see Bumper going back to spawn and swapping. Yep, there he goes. Okay, so Vancouver Titans, Twilight has Nano Boost. They've got Grav combo coming up. RCK has EMP, and they don't have a support ultimate, so they could try and like bait with Bumper, and then EMP Bumper for their survivability. RCK maybe going to try and... What is he trying to do? Is he going to try and... He got decloaked by Janu. Nice. Great spy check from Janu. Okay. So now RCK is probably going to be forced to go into like a tank-only EMP, which would probably cause Twilight to be able to avoid that and be able to kind of like bait Bumper on it. But in the meantime, they go for the backline immediately. Bomb is going to catch Kellex. Nice. So Boston, like their movements and their engagements are kind of so slow that they allowed, with the EMP, they got engaged on just with speed boost and graviton. Excuse me. Yeah, they wasted a lot of time. They wasted a lot of time there. And like their goats is just looking slower and sloppier than it used to. Okay. My day's going pretty well, thanks. So there's a rally and an aggressive nano into a shatter. Caught Aim God? But he was like immediately destroyed anyway. Hoxell's like, forward! Somebody's sleeping. Blase. Oh, he got bubbled. Okay. Okay, Titans only have barrier now. RCK still has the EMP, so hopefully we see that again. We do like an EMP hack attempt on Slime or something like that. Twilight's hiding. Okay, RCK. What's the option here? What's the option? What are you going to select? Mid-team EMP, backline EMP, tank EMP, no EMP, and just pressure? What do you hit? Doesn't get Slime, though. Bumper does drop. Hawkcell's in the grav. Is going to get him with a pin, too. And they timed this fight to be in overtime, too, so the Vancouver Titans have overtime spawns. That's going to be really tough for the Vancouver Titans to retake. Yeah. They timed that last fight so they could get kills in overtime. And then it's a 13-second respawn instead of a 10-second respawn, which makes it a lot easier to take that point. That special, just EMP lull. Yeah. It did its job of like a tank-only EMP because it did hit Bumper and they were able to kill him through it. But, yeah. Slow. Very slow. Ugh. Okay, Titans, what are you going to attack with? Are you going to attack with the Mythical Goats composition? Bumper is on Sombra just a scout. Glad you enjoyed it, Toda. Why is New York so inconsistent? I actually did not watch the New York-Atlanta game, so I don't know. I can't answer that. Bumper got slept. Teabag him, Hawkcell. Do it. It's interesting that they were able to do that. That's a very, very difficult play to do. Was it in Pugs? I think we attempted this. Like I do think that Vancouver Titans is already thoroughly in like full meme mode. I'm trying to remember where I actually tested this out, but we tested like the Batiste Symmetra interaction, and it's so very, very hard to actually kind of like teleport in and get your immortality field down and have it be kind of like a useful thing. Because either like the teleporter gets destroyed immediately, or your immortality field gets destroyed immediately, or something like that. It's just so hard to pull off consistently. So the kind of like the interesting thing about the way that the Vancouver Titans pulled that off is the fact that they had a set teleporter, and that the teleporter went from like a very specific angle through a crack into an area behind a wall, so that Boston couldn't destroy it before the entirety of the Titans got through the teleporter. So it's like a very niche strategy. It will only work once, and yeah, so as soon as it's failed. It's interesting that Blase is using this Riptire right here, instead of trying to like get more time out of it or cancel an ultimate or something. Riptire is like really good if you want to counteract an enemy ultimate, but for Blase to use it like so fast before the Vancouver Titans even started to rotate is a little bit of an interesting decision. He's gonna probably charge another one, but still, it's just, you know, if you're wanting to like min-max things, it's questionable, I suppose. They've shown that angle before? Fair enough. You guys watch more games than I do. I scrim during officials. Or, yeah, I scrim during officials.
If you do break it, you know they have to switch. You have the ultimates. You can take point B really quick too.
Oh, it's supercharger time. Fusion puts down the magic bongo. Solminsu just gets cracked over on that left-hand side, and Janu desuited now. Another good-looking fight for the Boston Uprising. And this
Okay, 70 seconds left for the Vancouver Titans. They've got Grav, which is good. Suminsu should be dead here. Are they not going to try and flush him out of here? Ooh, he got out. Ooh, okay. RCK chasing him down. So they got Grav. Now, what are they going to do? They've got 52 seconds, which effectively makes this last fight. So if I was the Vancouver Titans, I would try and rotate it into the right side and try and force a fight on point. So, Vancouver Titans, they're going to be swapping over to Winston, though. So, how is this going to work? So they're going left side, not anything what I thought they would do. There's the tank mode, there's the Grav, Nano Boost, and the Batiste. Suminsu is down? No, Boston's going to take the map. Interesting. Really didn't feel like Vancouver Titans took this one seriously, but hey.
Vancouver, maybe their approach is a little bit
It was like a very, very lackadaisical attempt. If Vancouver actually manages to take this, because they're going to have to touch with ball. Here's Blase. This is a good rip tire. Shield bashes the tire and survives it. Nice. So there's Slime using the barrier. Now this is kind of like, this is the first fight that Vancouver Titans is obviously actually trying for. Like they're rotating, they've kind of surrounded them. There's the bomb coming in. I don't think that'll get anybody. Oh, it hit Janu. Janu didn't get away. But still, like there's this pressure on the point. Bumper is low. Still surviving. They've got Trance now. But this is like what Vancouver Titans, if they wanted to take this point seriously, needed to do from like square one. Is rotate them around to the point. RCK has Nano. Gets booped away. Twilight just barely surviving. There's the body block in from Bumper. The Immortality field is down. And another tank form is coming out. Janu gets demeched. Oh, what a terrible time for Kullahex to go into an animation. He could have prevented the remake on Janu. Yeah. This is like, I don't know. You could be like, wow, they pulled off a crazy clutch at the last moment. But that was like the only fight that Vancouver actually took seriously. Yep.
That's why they gave him the nano boost. He was just trying to live on the point, but now someone's with an EMP. Can you spiral?
Yeah, they just decided to try. It's probably the best way to describe that one. Okay. So that style is Suminsu on Sombra. Like they're just so confident they don't need to set up any plays. They can just threaten the EMP basically and just walk up, play your yeah. RCK can't even get back into mech. Yeah, okay, Vancouver. Okay, Vancouver. Okay, Vancouver. I don't know. I don't know how to say that one, but Vancouver are really good. Oh, Titans are hilariously good. So yeah, like I don't know. It's probably the thing that I've come to believe more than anything since joining the Overwatch League is the absolute mostest importantest thing for any team in the league isn't strategies. It's not mechanical competence or anything of that variety. It's confidence and trust in your teammates. Like confidence and trust are just like so important. And then the ability to like communicate with each other mid-game, like the ability to actually kind of like communicate those thoughts. Obviously going to make your abilities easier, but yeah, no matter how good your strategy is, if you don't kind of like trust the your teammates to do their job, if you don't have the confidence in your teammates' abilities, if you don't have the confidence that people know what you're doing, it's not going to matter.
Kind of desperation switches that came through for Vancouver that really helped them be able to break it. So let's see if this is what they run with. You'd have Bumper playing the main tank here, so you're going to run 2-2-2.
Okay. Yeah, Vancouver Titans are in full meme mode. It's not even game 3 yet, and Vancouver Titans have decided to meme.
And then the really strong dive potential of Wrecking Ball, Genji, Diva.
So we'll just poke from medium to long range with Shuriken early on. Just pressuring down, wanting to build up that Dragon Blade. Once he has that,
Okay.
that's when stuff starts.
I really want to see
Now he's just trying to
I want to see more Bumper DPS.
jump on a target that is playing on their own. You see Vancouver tried to jump on RCK.
Would you combo Bob with Nano? No.
So Boston now need a reset.
Bob is a little bit of an interesting one.
The pressure on point.
I think Ashe is definitely like underrated. She's one of like 3 heroes that hasn't been played, right? Something like that. Or what was it in that crazy match? It was Chengdu versus Florida or something like that, where it was like every single hero was played except for Reaper, Ashe, and Roadhog or something like that.
Just crumples under the blow. Blase not far behind, and Huxar's run out of targets, but it doesn't matter.
Everybody's dead, crap.
Vancouver Titans take Paris away. Their attack looked good once they broke
Yeah, it was over.
the bunker composition.
Okay, well, that was the first half. I'm predicting this game to be a 3-1, not a 4-0.
Halftime's coming up, much to talk about. We'll see on the other side of that.
Just because Vancouver Titans stopped caring before the half. So, okay. King's Row time, friends. King's Row time.
So, oh, that's
I read all the comments on YouTube, every single one.
Boston, it seems like in this match has decided
Literally, if you comment on a YouTube video of mine, I read it.
damage dealers, or they decided to run a Sombra version of Goats with RCK picking up the Sombra. So good on the hero.
Some of you are also idiots, and you should stop commenting. Most of you, though, you're pretty cool.
Don't have that extra. Sit around and wait to get hacked and have Boston be the initiator. They want to just go in and take the
Okay, Boston Uprising going back to their classic Sombra Goats. And by classic,
knows that he can get all the
I mean from since stage 2.
providing they're not shielded. There's no diva to eat them or eat these darts coming away from Twilight's. We can
Hard for me to commentate without leaking
quite comfortably.
about why Boston is doing Sombra Goats, but hey. Vancouver Titans, back to this Ana. This is one of the interesting things, is that Ana, statistically, like the Ana Goats is, man, I'll talk about this at the half. Somebody remind me to talk about Ana Goats. In the break between the King's Row at the half, I've got a rant about Ana Goats.
RCK's got the EMP. He's going to use it. Connect with 3 players.
Twilight go for the nano beast here as well, but it might be enough to keep
Ooh.
Bumper alive. It isn't, but it's a 1-for-1.
Bumper and Blase, I would, like, honestly, losing Brigitte is not that big of a deal. Losing your main tank is. Trance is coming out. You use it for grab. Color Hex is antied. Slime is in the back line. Okay. Boston Uprising in a good position here. Bumper should be back within about 2 or 3 seconds. Where is he? There he is. Hi, Bumper.
He'll fire this one off. Hope that Johnny won't need it, but he's eating it up pretty quickly.
Nice. That was really well played by Hoxel there.
Who gets given a bubble? He
He trades himself, which again is not really a valuable pick-off for the Graviton. He just basically tanks the Graviton, which is unfortunate. One of the best ways, you know, he's gonna die basically anyway. Even if he gets caught in the Grav, he's either gonna get like pinned out or focused or something like that.
Then you know there's no burst healing opportunity.
So he just goes, pressures the Grav out, forces him to get grabbed, keeps the rest of the Vancouver Titans alive, but they lose the point anyway.
The Inspire, just the passive heal that comes out from Brigitte. You get all of that utility out of the way. You feel much
Okay. Vancouver Titans got 4 ultimates. Boston Uprising has the EMP plus the Shatter combo. Let's see how they execute this one. I wonder how Vancouver Titans is going to play this. There's the bomb coming in.
should be the same here. 3 people caught by that one. A trade once more. Blase for Bumper. That happened first in the previous fight.
Yeah.
Once again,
I like Uber's casting.
thread of winning team fights after getting EMP out. If they win every fight in which they use EMP,
Weird camera angle for that fight. I didn't really get to see what I wanted to.
sound barrier there, you get nothing for it. Bumper's down by then. Summon doesn't get hit by it.
I so very much enjoy being able to just like third-person cam, spectate games instead of lock to observer cams. But anyway, RCK trying to force Janu off the high ground. Bumper's got the cart. RCK, ooh, survives though. Twilight was trying to play a little bit of DPS, trying to get RCK off the high ground. Fell a little bit behind on Ealing, but then they pop the rally and just kind of go forward, retake the point. That's good. Color Hex is coming up on Grav. Slime nowhere near the actual barrier there. They've pinned who? Fusions. They pinned Fusions out of it.
Twilight throws that one in and cancels out the healing from Aim God.
I mean, no chance of getting hit by a Diva. There's no Diva for the Boston Uprising.
Oh.
Does a nice job positioning himself, just getting to the side, being able to get it around the shield, right? Able to land that biotic grenade. Takes away all healing effects. So, Bumper with a Shadow, Twilight with a nano boost.
So one of the real challenging things about playing Ana in this situation is because you don't have double support ultimates, right? So this relies Slime to be able to have to balance his ultimate between using it to just stay alive, you know, counter enemy support ultimates, change tempo, anything of that variety. And then on top of that, he has to both counter EMP and Graviton, which means he's never ever going to have his ultimate, you know, in every situation that he needs. In that case, the EMP was supposed to go onto Bumper, but it went on to Sumin Su. So this is like one of the more challenging parts about running Ana, is that you simply don't have enough defensive support ultimates for all of the offensive options that the Boston Uprising has. So you need to outplay that in different kind of situations, either like playing faster or getting more utility or kind of making plays. Now in that specific case, in that last fight, they lost, but Twilight was trying to set something up. He was behind on a high ground. He tried to get a sleep when Bumper had Shatter, so they tried to do a sleep Shatter setup So Vancouver Titans are doing harder to pull off and less practical plays because of the necessity of them having an Ana instead of a Lucio Zenyatta. It's smart, but it's also just impractical. How you doing, Danny? There's the bomb. Should be able to survive that with Blaze's shield and Color Hex's bubbles. True, true. Bumper gets booped into the pit from Kellox, and Boston's going to keep this rolling. Last fight, though, Vancouver Titans will have double support ultimates. Boston Uprising will only have Barrier, but they do have the EMP coming up. Bumper has the Shatter. I'm going to do a Boop Shatter, trying to do a Bash Shatter, just trying to do a Speed Shatter, just look for a Shatter on his own. A lot of options. Didn't get to see what happened there. It's too bad. Camera was turned the other way. There's the EMP. Twilight reactively trances that based off of the translocator throw from RCK. Minute 45 though. Somebody's in the pit? Bumper's in the pit. Nice. And the greatest part of that fight is that Vancouver Titans kept one of their support ultimates. So they actually do have a defensive support ultimate still for Color Hex. Aim God being sneaky sneak. Doesn't that emote make more noise than just floating there generally? Not that he's probably going to get heard, but in terms of min-maxing efficiency. Wow, Uber's talking about the same thing. Okay. Rally for both teams. Boston will probably trigger the rally first. Both Zaryas had the exact same idea. That's great. That was a bit of an awkward fight. I actually think probably if you wanted to look at terms of, you know, it's a min-max to the point of you'd never actually be able to do it practically or coach it. Practically is that normally a Zarya won't be able to survive and grab even with a support ultimate just because she's very, very easy to headshot and she has no armor. There's Hammer. Does get Bumper. Yeah, the trance comes out, but there's just so much damage onto Bumper. He's going to die right through a support ultimate, which is usually the same thing happens to a Zarya in a Graviton, or like literally any squishy. Zarya is still a squishy, even though she has 400 HP. She's got no armor and a very, very easy to crit headbox, or hitbox. So, Kellox gets the touch, Fusions trades off, Hammer in the backline finds 3, and that should be the Vancouver Titans cleaning it up. Okay, so the Ana rant. The Ana rant. So the thing with Ana is that when GOATS was initially premiered or run, is that it was played with Moira. And then Moira had so much healing. And especially if you're ever reading like a Reddit thread or something like that, and the answer to kind of like, anytime a team has like too much healing, it's just run Ana lol forehead, right? Just stop them from healing forehead. Just use your nade forehead. It's kind of like one of those just very dismissive responses, ignoring how difficult it is actually to land a nade on a target. You know, especially in GOATS, there's Brigitte's shield, there's Reinhardt's shield, there's defense matrix, and then there's 2 Zarya bubbles. Just anti-ing people is a very, very difficult task. And then there's the fact that if you're using it and you try and use it offensively and it fails, then you don't have that ability to use it on your own team to keep you healed up, and the opponent still has Moira, and they're going to just like utterly destroy you. So, despite that, the nano boost changes made it a lot more viable for you to kind of use the nano boost as a way to kind of like maintain tempo or to keep yourself alive against a Moira GOATS. And in response to that was how Zenyatta GOATS kind of came to be, and the fact that Zenyatta was able to put just so much pressure, not only onto the Reinhardt, who could no longer freely swing, but also onto the shield of the Reinhardt and destroy that a lot easier. And then, furthermore, past that is the fact that when you are running the Zenyatta, you have a secondary support ultimate, and with the GOATS compositions having such massive health pools, the charge rates of Lucio and Zenyatta's ultimates were so much higher playing GOATS, that you could basically use them. Initially, the way that people started playing Zenyatta Goats was that they compensated for the lack of healing with just using their support ultimates as a way of tempo. So Moira's ultimate became very, very low value because it kind of gave you some healing and some damage, but it wasn't like a lot. And then Anna's ultimate came to the point where it kept your Reinhardt alive with the damage reduction, the extra effective healing that he got, and the more damage that he put out. But then that kind of got entirely mitigated by the charge rates of Lucio's and Zenyatta's ultimate, which just kind of completely, more or less, negated the benefit of the Ana Nano Boost. And then on top of that, you can just defense matrix the Ana to cut off the primary source of healing whenever you did want to all-in the Reinhardt, which kind of led to Ana Goats falling out of the meta. And then when Sombra Goats came back into the meta, and it was going against... Trying to pull off a guard, are you? Anyway, when Sombra Goats came back, that's where Ana Goats saw a return, in that they don't have a diva, so maybe we can play Ana again. But the weird thing about Vancouver Titans is that they play Ana even when the opponent is not playing Sombra Goats. And I don't think anybody knows why, but honestly, my opinion about why they do it is because Twilight just wants to play Ana. I honestly think that's the reason.
Twilight's at like 70%, so Aimgod doing a nice job farming up that trance at the beginning, using that ultimate to keep everybody alive. But now you come in with all the big ultimates on the board.
He paid $20. He can play what he wants. True. Okay. Yep. So they use the Graviton to try and initiate on, but they get counter EMP'd, counter Grav. The Transcendence is about to run out. But Haxall drops the rally to try and stay alive. Hammer finds 2. How on earth did that hammer find Slime? He was like around the corner. Weird. Buzz gets Twilight.
I mean, for Vancouver, though, you do hold on to Shatter, Self-Destruct, and Sound Barrier, so you'll have those. Is that in the next combo? I mean, you can always throw this...
I'll check after the game. I don't like to check downloads or messages during games and commentary. RCK's got another EMP. There's the pin onto Fusions. Gets Kellex. Blase super low. Bumper's in trouble. Bumper dies. RCK drops with EMP. It's not something you want to have happen. Okay. 4 minutes. Nice little time for Vancouver. They don't have to get it. They have to get it to a really, really easy place on third. So pretty much as long as there's only one place, and that's at the end of second point, where they could get stalled out here. So Boston needs to start taking like really aggressive fights, trying to burn off some of that time bank. Because if they get past that end of second part, it's gonna be tough. So this immediate choke is a good one. Bookstore is okay, but then the end of second is where they really want to try and make their last stand. Great rally from Haxall coming out. Just rally is so good against EMP. It won't keep you alive, but it's definitely makes it a much more challenging task for your team to be destroyed. Rally just persisting through EMP is so strong. Okay, so Color X has Grav. Johnny going to be looking for that eat. He's also got Bomb. Bumper has Shatter. I'd be surprised if Vancouver goes for like any crazy Shatter setup play. Bumper's probably just going to... Okay, they just speed shattered. Bumper just tried to make something happen. Twilight's alive. Okay. This is where RCK needs to hold, which is not wrong. But this is where the Boston Uprising needed to kind of shut this payload down. This is a really, really very defensible location. It's a hard choke to turn, so especially when you're playing Zenyatta, like Vancouver is, you know, getting value out of Twilight is going to be harder. And any place where he is going to get value, he's also going to be pretty abusable with his sightlines. So RCK is on the high ground. He's going to be scouting around. I assume Johnny's probably going to get the spy check on him. Johnny's already spy checking, looking for the hack. Johnny's got to pressure him out. There's the rally. Oh, so that was actually pretty smart from RCK. So what RCK did there is he kind of like baited the Vancouver Titans. So he put himself in a location purposefully where he tried to initially find the hack onto Bumper. Bumper shared his shield to prevent the hack. Janu chased him out of there, and he translocated. And Vancouver Titans popped the rally in order to try and go aggressive and abuse the timing in which RCK was resetting. But RCK didn't have his translocator set in a position safely. He had it on a rooftop. So he translocated off the high ground after getting pushed out directly into an EMP. That was a really good play from RCK. Okay, Shatter doesn't find anything. There's the Grav. Pick and choose your Grav. They don't have a Diva. There's the pin. Lands on Fusion, but it gets stunned. So he doesn't get hit. RCK translocated in. Fusions is dropping. Vancouver Titans can chain this. Yep, there we go. Beautiful from Slime. Bait the EMP and chain it into beat. Rally as well from Hawksaw. So 3 chained support ultimates from Vancouver Titans. That is an insane amount of sustain. That's what it takes to break that point. So minute 49. It's not impossible that Boston pull this around, but it's going to require them kind of get their shit together and take a fight. Where did the payload end up? Like, basically, they need to... Ooh. Suminsu already has another Grav? That's nice. I think that's GG's, actually. I don't think there's a recontest for Boston here. Maybe there is. Fusions is going to stay on Reinhardt because he has Shatter. They've got EMP as well. No, maybe Boston will retake this. Just barely. RCK's won. RCK dies with EMP. Charlie Niner. Have you ever had the EMP Shatter combo and then just not touched point? Boston has. Oh wait, Swimmer is here? Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Now he's back.
Hello, friends. Okay.
Oh, here he
He's
is.
back.
Okay.
Have you been you've been watching this year game? Have you, Jayne?
Yeah. Normally I like to focus a little bit more on like the analysis side of things, but Vancouver started memeing before Game 2 was even done, so I thought I'd hang out for a bit.
Bastion.
Yeah, it was.
Bastion gets Slime.
I mean, don't you agree
Bastion
that
gets Hexel.
Boston sort of.
Bastion gets Summon Sue.
You're 20 years
Swimmer,
behind.
fast as talking.
You are.
Don't you think that Boston kind of threw Paris? I think Boston could have first held Paris if they had rotated earlier to point.
I don't know. It's kind of a bad look when Vancouver Titans only tries in the last 6 seconds of the game off a comp swap and no ultimates and still beats you. So, yeah, I'm sure they could have.
You don't think their 3-3 they're running before was serious at all?
No.
Whoa.
Oh, Window Bastion.
Window Bastion. That's a lot of damage.
That is actual laser beam of death.
Do you think it wasn't serious because of the comp or because of how they were playing it?
Oh, no, like the comp was fine. It's goats, right? If you wanted to kind of like min-max that map, you can do different things and you can do different rotations if you want. But no, just like the pathing that they took, and they initially tried like the Symmetra thing, which is like, that's a bit of a meme on its own, you know? That was obviously practice because of the angle that they put their
They've done it
teleporter.
before.
They've done a lot of stupid shit before.
You're not wrong.
Are you still streaming, Jayne? Are you still streaming, Jayne? Should we invite? Do you want to be part of the squad? Do you
The
want a
squad?
stream?
Is there a squad stream?
multi-Twitch.
Yeah, there's
There
this
is.
weird. There's a squad stream option where now it's just integrated into Twitch. Where you don't. It's not like a multi-Twitch thing. It's just integrated when you
Sure,
join a
invite me.
squad. Yeah. Let me find you.
I used to control the squad invites, but then Avast stopped getting my squad invites. Now he controls the squad invites.
Now I am the squad leader.
Somehow this has changed.
You gave him
I think
that
I sent
power?
it to you.
I think he took the power, kind of.
I took the power, but it should be on your dashboard,
got
I
it.
believe, Jayne. Yeah.
Done.
And then it just automatically happens. Like you don't have to do anything really.
Yeah,
Squad stream.
So my question for you, because I can't talk about this, but I am super curious, is what you guys think of RCK Note trade now that we're seeing kind of both teams suck shit recently.
Both teams. I don't know if I'd say both teams have sucked shit recently. I mean, for Boston, arguably, the trade has worked out less good for them. In a sense. I mean, it's hard to say though because they've also won plenty of games. RCK, like RCK, I think has looked better with Boston.
Wow.
And I think Note has looked better with Fuel. Whether or not, I guess overall, I'd probably say it's been a better trade for Fuel between the two. But I don't think it's been bad for Boston per se.
I mean, let's be real. It's not like either of you guys have. Boston, I think, has worked way worse than you. People just overrated you, in my opinion. So I think you guys shouldn't be walking away from your match and be like, we suck shit.
Mom?
Yeah.
Rather than like maybe the expectations were a little bit crazy. So, but I think the trade has worked out well. I mean, it's clear that I think OGE, when he's properly supported, is a fucking top 5 tank.
Good, OG's been playing crazy lately.
I think and the big thing that he wasn't looking maybe as good recently is because obviously the meta shift, but also maybe he wasn't getting the level of support he needed. And now that he is, he's looking really fucking good. So.
Also, Boston, are they about to set a speed record here? What's going on?
Their speed record was 421. We set it against Seoul. They're 5 seconds behind.
People said it yesterday.
Yep, we managed to set a world record on Gibraltar while losing the game in the series 4-0.
Yeah, that was the real sad point about that.
Hey, you got to look at the positives.
That was the
set the
positive.
record
That
while
was the
still
positive.
losing.
What other positives are there?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
But yeah, the TLDR on the trade, Jayne, is that I feel like it's one of the rare circumstances where it's worked out for both teams.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of interesting to see how it's changed both teams' styles. Definitely.
All right, I'll let you know. Okay. We might get Lane Roberts in here later today.
Oh boy! Wait, you're not a fan of the big boy Surefour?
I am a fan of
Did you
Surefour.
ask him about his
we
ring?
Go down a
Did you
different
ask him
road
about
with
his ring?
He has a ring.
Yeah, he got a big fucking ring. He posted it a while
It
back.
was like a $10,000 sapphire ring.
Oh my god!
Was he talking with Mitch before he bought the ring?
Just ask him about his ring.
Jesus.
Wait, $10,000? Like, I think that just slipped by me. $10,000?
That's insane.
What the fuck?
Ask him about his ring.
That's like budget NBA baller sass, where it's still like more money than the average person, but it's not quite the, yeah, I'm in the NBA, I just spent $300K in a ring. What of it?
Are there actually $300 rings?
$300K.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Probably.
I'm sure there is, yeah.
Chat, what is the
Custom
most
made
expensive ring you could possibly buy?
There's no way it's not way over $300K.
Yeah, you're probably right. There's probably some like weird watchmaker from the UK that makes rings for the royal family, made out of like
There
the
is
tiers of.
a $71.2 million ring that was sold.
There we go.
Oh, $71.2
Here's the
million.
Surefour ring.
Surefour
Can we
is
find the post?
slacking.
Yeah. Here it is. This is the Surefour ring. Look at this. Look at this.
What the
fucking,
fuck?
Holy fuck.
Look at this.
Where did you
fucking,
link
look at
this?
the size of that. Look at the
That's a
absolute
rock.
size of that.
That is a rock!
I don't even know where you posted. Oh no. Oh,
I
you're
have
showing
it
it on your
right
stream.
now, but-
Okay.
Yeah, I've showed it on my stream. Yeah.
I can't wait for the follow-up tweet from Surefour at some point, guys. Guys, I lost my ring.
I
You
lost
know
my
it's
ring.
coming. You know it's coming.
It just in his drafts. He doesn't want to post it quite yet because he posted the ring video recently.
Sure.
It's huge,
My
but
chat
really
just said
ugly.
that Surefour proposed to himself.
Well, if there's one person that loves Lane Roberts, it's Lane Roberts.
You know what? I wish that I could have somebody who loves me the way Lane Roberts loves Lane Roberts.
Surefour loves himself.
If they don't do some sort of skit on Watchpoint of having like someone kiss his ring, then I don't know what world.
I don't think the Watchpoint crew. I think this is the first. Brent, is this the first you've heard of the ring? I don't think you guys even knew about the ring. He's not even here. He's taking a shower,
putting on
probably.
pants.
Yeah, he's probably taking a shower.
Aim God just collecting
Aim God's-
scalps.
Clicking.
Game God's pretty good at the video game.
Yeah, he is. I'm interested to see Persia play at some point for Boston if he is going to play at all.
Is it
I'm
annoying
interested
to
to see-
anybody
Well,
else
I
to
got the
watch the
hammer kill on
Vancouver
Janu.
Titans play? Because I just want to see the Vancouver Titans try hard, but like there's basically 2 opponents in the league that can make them do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're currently there's just no one that they feel that they'll play super serious against besides Shock, New York, and like maybe Gladiators if they keep up their pace.
Like, and I get it's
Hey, you
good
never
for their
know,
like
another
mental
match
health
of
to
Chunky
kind of
is
have
nice.
some
My love
fun and
from
not take these
Boston and that
seriously.
I hope he's
But like
doing well,
watching
smile.
Vancouver play well is so much
Scary.
fun, and we just rarely get to see it.
Oh, that was such a
Oh,
good name.
speaking of watching teams play well, what do you think of the take that's been going around of British Hurricane versus Runaway?
I haven't watched
I
EU
think that
contenders like at
British-
all this season. So
I think that British Hurricane will beat Vancouver.
considering Benchbob said it, like I trust Benchbob's
Ugh.
opinion.
I trust. Well, did Bench Mob say it? Did Bench Mob also echo that opinion?
Yeah, well, what are like? Is the
I heard it was
collective insanity
Volamill and
spread?
Sideshow. I heard it was Volamill and Sideshow.
Oh, I thought Bench was agreeing with it.
I mean, he might have. I don't know. I don't know. So.
Like I don't know. Like there's so many times that there's occasionally where if I don't have an opinion of my own, I'll like echo the sentiments of other people that I trust. And the last time I kind of like fell into that trap was I fell into the trap of the Hangzhou Spark like hype where people were talking about they were hyping him up to be like one of the best teams, and like in scrims they were doing pretty well and they were playing you know the first like triple DPS comps that anyone else was running. You know, so I was like, you know what, yeah, I could, you know, they've got Gushue, they're playing new stuff, or, you know, it was like I'll buy into this hype. And it was like Monty was like all on board this hype train, and especially when you had like the commentators kind of going around to different teams, because I'm not sure if you guys know this, but like,
yeah, we do.
the U to chat probably doesn't know this.
Oh, to chat.
But like the commentators and the casters in the Overwatch League do like the rounds where they visit the actual teams, see how they operate, practice in their team houses, and watch scrims. So like the opinions of the commentators and casters are usually pretty good, and if they're unanimously saying that a team is pretty strong, then you best listen, and there's probably some credence there. But then just to have the spark just be so counter to all those predictions, where I kind of just like echoed that sentiment about the Hangzhou Spark without really kind of taking the time to form my own opinion. So that's yeah, it's weird. I've kind of like narrowed down the list of people's opinions who I trust and will confidently echo. So like Benchbob and Sideshow are like 2 guys who definitely I pay attention to with what they're saying. But past that, there's not a lot. Not a lot of
Really?
people on
So
that
you
list.
are having so you are having Bench Mob in there, huh?
Yeah, Benchbob's predictions are usually like square on.
he agree,
and he
though?
knows.
I
I
only
don't
saw
remember. I
Government
thought
up
he
there.
did, but I could be wrong. So I'd want to look to see what Benchmob thought about. Because Benchmob watches, and
He does watch.
he watches like all of the regions, and he knows players and free agents. So, like, yeah, if I, because I don't even watch all the Overwatch League games, right? I'm doing officials. Sorry, I'm scrimming during official matches, right? So I definitely don't have enough time to watch all of the contenders regions. So if I want kind of like the quick information, I got to kind of have the people that I trust who watch those regions and actually understand the game. And Bench is kind of my go-to for
And I think
an
that's
opinion on
a
contenders.
valid take. I think it's a perfectly valid take. We've told chat before how a lot of teams in Overwatch League simply, it's almost impossible unless you have dedicated staff to be watching contenders, you know? Like to be actively scouting because you're currently, you know, you're in scrims, you're doing VOD reviews, you're doing other shit for Overwatch League. So unless you have dedicated staff, there are like other people you have to look to. And I think that's like a pretty smart take, is that trust people's opinion there.
Well, and even
I do
from
wish
the
more teams
casting-
had people dedicated to scouting, though. But I mean, like that's just like stretching resources really thin, because it's not like teams have infinite resources.
I think
so-
there would be a lot
Well,
of
even
value
just from the
for
casting end,
go
though,
ahead,
right?
ZP.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me. I'm sitting here trying to get a word in for like the last 3 minutes. Like, what the fuck? At some point, I'm gonna fucking interrupt someone. No, but like even from the casting point of view, right? Where realistically speaking, me and Avast have been doing, you know, the OWL streams. We're doing Contenders NA, Contenders Korea. That alone, you're dealing with 44 teams and all associated players and movements and otherwise. And even just within that realm, like, you know, main OWL and 2 Contenders regions, some stuff is going to fall through the cracks, let alone like trying to add on even more to that, or like trying to add on a coaching schedule otherwise. They're literally, there's not enough hours in the day.
No, there's not. So I definitely think there'd be value provided if there were kind of like groups of people who did scouting, you know, like for Overwatch League teams. I think that'd be kind of a neat structure. Kind of like you'd probably have to couple that into like a player union, maybe. I don't know, man. But yeah, like it's kind of weird. I watch so much less Overwatch media now that I'm part of an Overwatch League team because I'm just so focused on one team. And like somebody asked me for my opinion on New York earlier. I was like, I don't play New York for I don't even know how many months. I haven't looked at like any of their games, so I have no idea why New York lost to Atlanta. I don't know if it's because Atlanta was good or New York was bad, but kind of like I am very, very informed on a very small subset of the league, and then other things I just have like no idea at all.
Yep. That's the price of specialization.
Yeah.
That's the price of being like fucking hardcore focused. Like my brain at times have been Papega recently because of the fact that ZP and I are watching so much fucking Overwatch. Like we've been doing this, like I said, how I've termed it, the 7-day work week. We're doing 3 days of casting. One of those days at a really fucking terrible hour because it's Korea, so it's like 5 a.m. our time. So we do 2 NA cast, the Korea cast. Then after that, we immediately come and do like 8 to 9 hours a day for 4 days of Overwatch League streaming, of watching all the games. So like, at this point, I'm like the SpongeBob episode where he replaces everything in his fucking mind with fine dining, and like there's like nothing else left in my brain.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's fine dining and lifting, and that's it. That's literally my fucking brain, and I have nothing else in there. But it's also not even necessarily a great thing. It's like, sure, do I think ZP and I next to like probably the only other people I think I would compare right now is Jaws and Leg Day in terms of like having the extensive like the amount of knowledge in Overwatch we overall watch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, since we're watching so much fucking shit, my brain just sometimes mixes up players or like moves them around because I just cannot remember everything perfectly on the dot.
My first time I ever
you're
went
not
on...
gonna be able to, especially when teams do massive roster changes, right? Where, you know, you have teams like Second Wind where all of a sudden, yeah, they've changed everything up. Or WGS, where WGS apparently just got like hyper poached. And then people's like, wait, you don't know where their new members are from? It's like, we didn't even get the roster until like 5 minutes before the match on top of like...
What happened to WGS?
It's like...
They got totally... Their roster is entirely different in Korea. They got pretty much... They had a swap around. Some players went to O2 Blast, and then the rest of them are just like gone.
There was no Korean announcement either on their
There was
Twitter.
zero announcement for it.
Like, yeah, they just existed on the other team. Me and Harry were like, huh... Well, these aren't the normal players, and we just
and it's weird too because no one understands that we have no resources. You know, like we're all doing this as like Elo Hell, which is your channel, Jayne. You know, stuff that you're involved with is like they're running the KR production now, and you know we have NA broadcast, but it's remote now, and like we really don't have any like we're not getting fed info like the Overwatch League guys. We're not getting fed. Like we're just doing it all ourselves essentially.
Yeah.
So. It's tough to keep up with everything.
We should get like I don't know, having like an insider for remote broadcasts would be so hard. I guess we could look into a way of doing it.
I mean, I think it's more trouble than it's worth, honestly, from my opinion.
Yeah, like for value added, it would be a lot of effort for very little added value for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's certain things where that's just reality of remote broadcasting, right? Like even stuff like interviews, right? Like trying to do live translation of interviews.
Oh man.
I remember we flirted with like the idea of doing that. I'm just like, wait, actually, this is gonna be too hard. Let's not.
Don't
actually
remind me. Don't remind me. It is amazing the issues that crop up with trying to broadcast tournaments, though. Although I'm pretty happy that there's been out of all the times that the contenders broadcasts have been like super scuffed. Recently, none of them have been our productions. Like there was what happened with Meta Athena's production. They kind of like contracted a new organization in Korea to broadcast. Was it Korean Open Division or something like that? And then they just like didn't for Meta Athena's game, something like that. It was like a big drama issue. You guys hear about
Dia
that?
is playing. Okay. I have not heard anything about that. I would say the space that I know least about in terms of juice and drama is probably the Korean space. So, because they're a very tight knit community. Because if you obviously don't speak Korean, if you're not, generally
it's really too bad. Because anytime I do hear like juice from Korea, it's always just so good and so hilarious. Like it's basically reality TV over there.
Well, the one juice that does come out like super publicly is anytime someone gets caught boosting. Like that's the type of thing where once people find out, that shit spreads like wildfire.
Oh, that shit is everywhere in like 10 minutes fucking flat, even on comp Overwatch. That shit gets out there quick.
It's already on Inven as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. It's been tweeted out by like 30 different people.
People have been complaining about RCK, how he hasn't been able to get EMPs, and I'm like, sure, his EMPs haven't been necessarily great, but also this is the first time RCK and Boston have had to play against really good teams recently.
Yeah,
like
that position.
Like good teams are not going to let you get free EMPs. Like everyone's like, RCK so bad. He didn't get EMP on the best supports in the fucking league. But it's like the supports aren't going to let you get EMP.
It's probably
they're not going to let you get the EMP.
It's like the most frustrating thing to me in existence that people correlate the strength of players with the strength of teams. It's just so annoying. Like people see kill feeds and people see scoreboards and they're like, yes, Vancouver best team in the league, or it means that Bumper, you know, and everybody else on the Vancouver Titans are obviously the best in the entire world at their specific roles and characters. Like, you know, and when a really good player is on a team that's struggling and losing, that player is suddenly just really bad at the game.
Well, that's like that, though, also with any sport ever, not just for players, but for coaches as well, right? Where, you know, Bill Belichick literally got fired from the Cleveland Browns and ends up going to the Patriots and sets up a dynasty. Was he a massively, like, shit coach with the Browns? Probably not. Like, team performance, just you can't really separate it in the long run, for better or for worse.
I think in Overwatch, compared to traditional sports, you really can. Like, there's so many different angles, so many different statistics you could look at. Like, if people actually cared, like with the whole Hawksall drama going on, the only thing I said about Hawksall was that he hasn't impressed me. And that he wasn't, or he was probably like the worst player on the Vancouver Titans.
Well, I mean, I can understand that. Why do you think, what's your reasoning for why Hawksall hasn't impressed you? Like,
so
I can sort of agree with maybe potentially being the worst player. I mean, that's if you're the worst player in a team of incredible players, and that's really not that big of a deal, right?
So it goes back to like Korean contenders, where especially when you see him playing Genji or anything like in this in these metas and things like that. Anytime that Hawksall is playing Genji, you know, maybe there's a couple circumstances where it's like the most optimal situation for them to actually kind of like pull it out. But most of the times when Hawksall is on Genji, the Vancouver Titans are kind of like in a situation where they're very confidently going to win the fight, which is almost always, right? So Hawksall is popping off, he's well supported, the enemy team is kind of like mentally boomed and destroyed, and he's going to look utterly incredible, you know? That doesn't mean that if you took kind of like a similar players with their skill set and put them on the Vancouver Titans, assuming the team synergy remained the same, that they couldn't do the exact same thing. There's just such a huge emphasis on the team environment. So when you're looking at kind of like the power of a player within the context of a team and its success and its losses, even if a player is doing even if a team is doing really, really poorly, if you take a look at the player and how they're playing and like contextualize the decision making and their actions, if that's good, you know, especially if they're going above and beyond. And I'm just going to sidetrack for a moment here, but if a person is trying to like compensate for the points of the team where like maybe like if the off tank isn't doing their job as well as they can, you know, and for example, the flex support is trying to cover that, you know, maybe the flex support trying to do two roles at once or something like that is making them, you know, do worse, for example, because they have multiple things that they have to focus on to cover for like the weaknesses of their teammates. But if you do have people who, you know, maybe compensate for like Gushui, for example, where he's probably a player who is so good that he can kind of compensate for a weaker flex support, or sorry, a flex tank, just because his primal control and his ultimate is just so good that he can kind of like compensate for being weaker without his ultimate, that he's stronger with his ultimate. So when kind of like the discussion about who is the strongest main tank comes up, the fact that that segment went on Watchpoint and then people like didn't mention Gushui, it was kind of like really, you know, there's.
Well, I went for a shit and a shower and this game's still going on.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, mate.
So here's an interesting question for you.
Me or watch?
I
can't pay.
Give me a second. I'm gonna get TTS.
Couch.